Rise and shine, it's your time to win. Welcome to the Design to Win live broadcast. This is episode 81. And in this video, I'm going to start a series where I'm focusing on some publishing pet peeves. And the pet peeve number one is authors should never pay to publish. Is that true or not? So if you're joining for the first time, my name is Ruth Taylor. I'm a Jamaican entrepreneur and creator of the Entrepreneur Secrets Academy, where we teach especially Caribbean authors how to write, publish, and leverage their book for maximum impact and income. Now, if you're in any online group, one of the things is this. You will find in these self-publishing groups someone who gets, maybe somebody send them a publishing offer, and then the next question is, should I take this offer? They're charging XYZ, and I want to know if the cost is right. And somewhere in the conversation, you will inevitably find someone who will make the statement, authors should never pay to publish. Is that true? And along the line in the conversation, you're also going to find someone say, whoa, that's a vanity press. You should try self-publishing. No. In the Caribbean as well, you will hear somebody say, I'm looking for a publisher. I want a publisher. And I had a conversation recently with someone else, and he said, in Jamaica or in the Caribbean, there are no real publishers. Or in Jamaica, give me the name of one publisher in Jamaica. And we ended up in a little bit of a debate, friendly debate. And so I just want to set the record straight in terms of what we mean when we talk about a publisher, what persons internationally mean when they talk about publishing, and address the statement that authors should never pay to publish. But before I address it, let me tell you a little bit more about my publishing experience. So I'm an author entrepreneur or authorpreneur. It means I leverage books. I create products and services from books to generate both income and to create impact. That means I'm using books to either launch a business, a career, or to build a platform that I can empower and serve others. I am a book writing and publishing coach to nonfiction authors. I have 20 books, 20 years in education, and those are my other qualifications. But I've been publishing since 2016 as an independent publisher, meaning I started publishing my own books. Before that, I was published through a local publishing company, Pelican Publishers. And in 2016, I decided that I would publish my own books. And I started offering publishing services, but mainly to my friends. And so I published a book for one of my clients, Dr. Jean Lee, in 2016. So 2016, my independent publishing journey. Now, when I started the process too, I heard the statement, authors should never pay to publish, right? And what they mean by this is, for over 100 years, the standard in publishing is that a publishing house would pay the author to publish their own books, right? So a legitimate publisher for 100 years or so in the publishing industry would pay the author to publish their books. So the statement is partially true. The part about authors should never pay to publish, that is up for debate. All right. So traditionally, are you talking about traditional publishing or the independent publishing era or self-publishing era? So prior to 2008, authors who paid to publish would publish through what they call a vanity press. Now I'm broadcasting live on Facebook, so I'm checking in there. They would publish through what is known as a vanity press, right? So they would operate similarly to a traditional publishing company, but you would have to pay them. And vanity presses developed a bad reputation because they would act like a traditional publishing company. You're paying them, they hold your rights, you have to print your books through them, and there are certain limitations that are placed on you. And that's where it came from. So when internationally people talk about publishing, they're actually talking about traditional publishing, where you get an agent and you submit your book to a publishing house, and they will accept it or reject it. And then you sign a deal, you get a contract that they pay you anywhere from $5,000 to $250,000 to US, I'm talking, to publish your book. And they would take care of everything, the editing and everything that is involved, and much of the marketing. Now that has changed, right? That has changed. So even if you get a traditional publishing deal, you still have to market. And it used to be that if you don't get a traditional publishing deal, you're not considered a real author, or you are substandard, and there will be prejudice against you. That still exists. But in 2008, there began the self-publishing revolution. I prefer to call it independent publishing revolution, but when you look online, it is the self-publishing revolution, especially with Amazon, and that threw the publishing industry in a bit of a loop. And so people started not seeking out traditional publishing as much. They found that the traditional publishing could take anywhere from 18 months to 2 years, and not counting the length of time you were trying to get a contract, there would be a lot of rejection. Famous case, Chicken Soup for the Soul was rejected 130 times. I think Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, she was rejected at least 12 times. Right, so when the digital publishing revolution started, people were now publishing books for themselves. So they would get their own editors, they would get their own graphic designers. So the entire team that a traditional publishing company would have, they started finding persons to do that and putting up their books on Amazon. And this will lead me to another pet peeve, which I don't want to get into. So here's a big distinction. If you are publishing traditionally, authors don't pay to publish. They don't produce a cent. All right? If you are paying for any part of the process, you are not traditionally publishing. It is a type of self-publishing that you are doing. Now, the problem with self-publishing, which I should make that another pet peeve in and of itself, is that it gives the impression that you're doing everything yourself. And some authors try to do that to their own detriment. Hence, self-publishing started getting a bad rap. So you think because Amazon is available, you just write a book and you put it up, which is you are your own cover designer, your own editor, and all of that stuff. And so you produce substandard books. And you continue the prejudice against independent authors. And so because there's an African proverb that says, a sculptor that does not know how to make gong should look at a kite's tail. Or he who does not know the way should be guided by pieces of broken clay pots, right? So what happened is that with this revolution now, anybody can write a book and put it on Amazon and Many people want to write, they want to self-publish, but they don't know what they're doing, because even Amazon is a whole world by itself. And you have to still spend the effort to put out a quality product, and there are things you have to learn in the process. So I say self-publishing is a misnomer. And this is one of my pet peeves, which I'll do in another episode, but let me just mention it now. If you're not a graphic designer, do not try to design your own covers. And even if you're a graphic designer, it doesn't mean that you're a good cover designer, because there are rules for cover design. And even graphic designers, people with artistic skills, don't necessarily give you the best cover, especially if they're doing it for the first time, because there are rules for cover design. So let me close. Authors should never pay to publish. When that statement is made, or I don't agree with that statement, not in this era. If you're not getting a traditional publishing deal, you're going to pay to publish. You're going to pay for editing. You're going to pay for editing or proofing. You're going to pay for cover design. You're going to pay for layout, unless you are going to do all of that yourself. And if you've never done publishing before, it's like you're getting into a car you've never driven before, and you just jump in the car and you start to drive. You're perhaps going to hit down somebody, damage yourself. And that is what is happening with self-publishing. People who do not want to pay to publish, and they don't take the time to learn, because it's a steep learning curve, they make a lot of mistakes on this journey. And once you don't get a traditional publishing deal, you are going to pay to publish, because you have to pay for the parts of the publishing process. And in the Caribbean, when we talk about looking for a publisher, there are very few traditional publishers in the Caribbean. Most of the publishing companies that are here, they're really independent self-publishing companies, because you pay them to produce your work. So they are really publishing service provider. So the person was right in that sense, but I say that they are independent publishers, because you are paying them to produce your work, because you don't know how to drive in the publishing world, or you don't have the time to learn, so you need guidance. And so I don't agree with the statement, not in this era. Unless you're getting a traditional publishing deal, you will have to pay to publish. And it's going to be expensive, but there are ways to cut down on the cost. And because most authors don't know how to drive in the publishing world, especially first-time authors who want to self-publish, I have created the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. Since I've been doing this, I've been writing and publishing since 2015. And I've always paid to publish because I didn't want to go the traditional publishing route. Maybe one day I'll try it. But for the time being, I want to get my work out, but I want to get it out well. You want it done properly. So I have to pay the persons to get it done properly. So if you want to learn to monetize your book, publish affordably, write fast, create sustainable income for your retirement, and transform lives with books, and get the guidance to publish properly, to self-publish properly, I invite you to join the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. We have a membership group where I take you from writing through to leveraging your books, creating impact and income. I have courses in book formatting, courses in how to write, the Rocket Writing course. And I guide you. You get coaching and guidance, because I realize that this is needed. And so you can go to www.extramileja.com, or just Google Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, and it will pop up, and check out our offers. Join me tomorrow when I'll be discussing, once there's internet service, because we've been having a lot of disruption, another of my publishing pet peeve, based on my experience of working with authors. And I'm in several author groups, and I've been studying this thing week after week for the past 6 years. So I have a lot to share. And based on the calls that I get and the authors that I've worked with, there are a lot of mistakes that they're making, and I want to address some of those. So this is Ruth Taylor saying ta for now until tomorrow. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, share it. Ta for now.